Oh no.
Ano daw?
It's not working.
I feel like you need to do like a kids one.
Oh my god, we should get him on.
Oh, that would be chaos.
It would be so funny.
Oh my days.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
How was your upbringing?
Yeah, it'd be like a really cute birthday present. Like a little birthday.
That would be so
Oh
cute.
my gosh, every year you can see how they're into,
Oh
you
my
know, like the
God,
Billie
yeah.
Eilish fan.
Oh yeah.
That would
That's
be
such a great
cute.
idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing that with my nephew now.
Artistahin.
Oh my god, I might steal that idea too.
That's such a great idea.
How
Yeah.
are you? I'll
Birthday
start with your child too.
From birth. So
From
how are
birth.
you feeling?
Like everyone knows about the Philippines now.
What does it mean to be Filipino British?
British Filipinos, fresh Filipinos.
Oh my god, yeah.
The Forbes, I was
Yeah.
aware that we have to have those two different identities.
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Action. I just want to have like open chats, that are just like naked. My name is Jem.
I'm Amir.
I'm Janine.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of What's the Chika?
Hello.
Hola.
Today we have a special guest, Miss Sydney Bautista.
Hi.
Hey Sydney.
Welcome.
Thank you.
For those who don't know you, do you want to just introduce yourself, a bit of a bio of who you are?
Sure. So I'm Sydney Bautista. I am the founder of Make the Jump. So we are a non-profit organization. What we do is we host a mentoring program twice a year for Asian creatives, and we match entry-level creatives or people that want to switch careers with industry leaders, preferably of Asian heritage as well. But we also don't want to limit that because there's like a lack of representation anyways in senior roles and all stats to support that. So anyone that kind of wants to be a mentor to support upcoming Asian creatives, we match them up together, and then we do a 6-week program filled with one-to-one sessions, workshops. So we do things with like lawyers, with production companies. Some people even get like work experience as well, which is really cool. And essentially it's like a career accelerator kind of vibe. So yeah, that's what I do. And then by day, I work in talent management. So I manage some lovely creators and influencers as well. So I secure brand deals for them. And we also do things like secure book deals, launch podcasts, and all that kind of thing. So yeah.
Big things, isn't
Wow.
Busy girl.
Wow, how are you managing all of that? That sounds like a lot.
I'm not. No, I try my best.
Before I guess we get into what you're actually doing, we kind of want to know Little Sydney.
Little Sydney.
How was Little Sydney? Did she grow up in the UK, in Philippines? What's Little Sydney like?
Little Sydney.
I like it.
So cute. Little Sydney was born in Tondo, Manila. So I was born in Tondo. I lived with my mum and my dad in like their family house, obviously like a multi-generational house. And then my mum moved to the UK for work when I was around 4. And then she saved up loads of money. And then me, my dad, my sister, and my auntie, she was like my yaya. Her name's Len, but I couldn't say it when I was younger, so I just called her Yen.
Yeah.
So Yen, and then she moved with us to the UK. So I have like a few memories from Philippines, but I was kind of mainly brought up in the UK, lived in Reading until I finished uni, and then before uni, moved to Swindon, very white area. And then as soon as that pandemic was over, I needed to get out of there, and I moved to London. But yeah, raised in the UK, born in Philippines.
So how old was you when you came here?
Just after my 4th birthday.
Oh,
So I feel
okay.
like my first like memory of the UK was like Christmas, which is really cute. And I remember my
Yeah.
first roast dinner as well. I was gassed. I was like, right, there's potatoes, there's chicken, and I feel like I feel like the Filipino equivalent is like a lechon, like a
Lechon,
barbecue
yeah.
kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so around Christmas time, so it was really exciting.
Cute. And so do you know how to speak Tagalog, or do you
I
understand it, or?
I can. Yes,
Yeah.
I understand it. I can say a few things. It might just take me like a few business days to like. But I understand it for the most part, and it is something that I've been wanting to relearn. Me and my sister like had a bet last year. We didn't keep it because we just forgot. But we wanted to learn Tagalog secretly throughout the year, And then I think when we came back for like Christmas, we wanted to just spend the whole day talking in Tagalog to like surprise our parents. And it didn't work out. We just forgot. But I do want to learn. I think like some friends I know that are wanting to relearn Tagalog, even have like tutors and stuff, which I didn't even think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how
Yeah.
do people learn it? Like, is there a Duolingo?
This is a funny story. I was speaking to someone that worked at Duolingo, and I was like, I was asking them like, how come like Filipino isn't on there? But they've got like other language on there, like Valerian from like Game of
Game
Thrones.
of Thrones, yeah.
Really?
No
way, I'd
Yeah.
love to
Crazy.
learn.
Literally, I love Game of Thrones. And then they also have something.
Klingon.
Yes, that's it.
I mean,
think
I'm
that's
not
it.
shocked to Klingon, to
But
be
I was
fair.
like, how do you have fake languages and then not a real
Yeah.
language?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Maybe we
so
need to
true.
create a
So-
petition.
Maybe we should collab with Duolingo.
Oh my god! Duolingo.
Shout us.
I think there is
That's
an app,
crazy.
but it's
No,
not.
Valerian, not Tagalog.
I know, not
Yeah.
Tagalog.
Yeah.
There is an app though, because I think Av had downloaded an app and he started learning Tagalog. He knows
Oh, that's so
itlog,
lovely.
he knows this, that. But I don't remember what the app is called.
Itlog is
We
killing
will
me.
add it in the description. But I think that whole tutoring idea is such a good.
So, like, how were
Way
you
to make
planning to
money.
learn?
Well, I was thinking I was trying to find like a Duolingo equivalent and I couldn't find one. I think my sister found one, but it's like, it's not the same format as Duolingo. Like, I don't think it's as interactive, which I think is quite helpful, even like the reminders and stuff. But yeah, I feel like I'm going to start with like the free options, which is just talking to my family. And like
Yeah.
see if I can like go a whole day
Yeah.
with them speaking to me in Tagalog and then go from there. And if not, I'll just be like, ask Google. But yeah, I mean, that's something I really want to do because I feel like I've maybe felt like a bit disconnected to being Filipino growing up just because I didn't learn Tagalog. But obviously, I had to learn English and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I can understand it. We're just getting there. We're getting there. It's pending.
So were you not surrounded by a lot of Filipinos in Swindon or Reading?
Yeah. In Reading, I was surrounded by a lot.
Loads in Reading.
We actually know,
Yeah.
we have a very close friend from Reading.
Reading.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? No
And
way.
they've got like quite a big community there. They're
Yeah.
like Ilongo, big Ilongo community.
Oh, really? So yeah, I feel like my community is like was really close knit in Reading, and I loved it. And we all lived close by, so I was always going to like my tita's house after school, or like babysitting my cousins and all that kind of stuff. But I think because then they kind of had similar stories where they grew up in the UK. They kind of, what's the word, Taglish? Yeah, like a
It's
little
a mix.
like
Yeah.
a little mix of stuff. So, but even then, like when I spoke to my cousins, we'd really only like speak in English as well. So it was a bit of that. But yeah, we have like a huge Filipino community, and I think it was like one of the second places after London that had a Jollibee open.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Do you know what? It
Jollibee.
might have been even before. Because I
Really?
remember.
I think it was Earls Court.
Earls
then-
Court
Oh,
first.
Oh, yeah.
And then what, Reading was the
Reading,
second?
and then
Yeah.
I think Leicester Square.
Leicester. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reading. So there is a massive community
Yeah.
there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
really nice that you had actual family there around you
Yeah.
too, which is
Yeah.
nice.
No, they were sweet. But yeah, no, they're not my family by blood, but you know when you've got
Yeah,
the,
Yeah.
the like family, and I
Titos
would
and
consider
titas,
exactly
for
like they
sure.
basically raised me, so love them.
What about Swindon then?
Swindon. So my dad works in care, and he worked in Swindon, and then my mum's job, she's a corporate babe, so she worked from home a lot. So it made sense for us to kind of move to Swindon so that he didn't have to commute as far, and when my mum's
Okay.
like work was a bit more flexible. And I just finished uni, so I didn't really have like a career yet. I was like working in a school, which I feel like we'll get into in a bit. But I was working in a secondary school, and it wasn't like what I wanted to do. So it was easy for me to kind of move with them. And then I found like work in another school nearby. And I think my sister was finishing uni, so she lived in Cambridge at the time. So yeah, that's why we moved to Swindon. But even that for me, it was so weird. Like I've been in this country for years, and then moving to Swindon was such a culture shock for me because I was the only, not even brown, like only non-white member of staff.
Yeah, Swindon
in,
is
like
really white.
yeah, like I was like 60 teachers and stuff. I was the only person that was like not white, which to me I didn't really clock, but
Really?
it was crazy until like a couple months later. Then one of my friends joined, and she was non-white as well. So yeah, but apart from that, us two would kind of be like this. like, this is very weird. And especially during the time of like the pandemic when there was so much like hate against Asians, I was like asked a lot of like, oh, what do you think of this? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was really weird. I'm like, also like, that's not the kind of Asian I am.
Yeah.
Like, it was so
Exactly.
weird.
And you don't represent all of the Asians. Why
Exactly.
is it your voice?
So
that has to-
strange.
Wow.
But yeah, Swindon was an experience.
Oh,
I
that
like
must
visiting
have
my
been
parents though. They like live in a lovely place, lovely area. The kids in general were lovely. I just think it was just a very I don't know. I don't want to say weird. I'm going to say weird. It was a very big learning experience to kind of like
Yeah.
navigate such a white space. Reading is really multicultural as well. So yeah, very odd.
Like a culture shock.
Yeah, within a country I've lived in for
Yeah.
years. It was very weird.
Yeah, it's really countryside. A lot of people are moving to Swindon area as well because like
Where
a
is
lot of like new
Swindon?
builds
It's
are being.
far. They have an outlet.
It's-
I've
yeah,
been
they
a
have
few
an
times
outlet.
'cause of
Oh,
that.
wow. Is it
near, the
like
Cotswolds.
Wales way or north
Yeah, it's
of
like
London?
if you take the train to Bristol, it like stops. on the way to Swindon.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought Swindon was like a seaside kind of town.
It sounds it.
Yeah.
Right? It does
Yeah.
sound, yeah. But actually, no.
How funny.
So, like, how often do you go back to the Philippines?
I don't go often, really. Like, I would love to, but again, like, it's also quite expensive. But we went once. I think we've only been once since going back, and it was for my cousin's wedding. And obviously, we had to go back, and it was really exciting, and I loved it. Like, we stayed in Manila, and then we got to see like the houses that I grew up in, which is really sweet. And then for my Lola as well, she didn't know we were coming. So me and my family, we went to go surprise her. And my dad's brother, so my uncle, he knew. So he was like, oh, like my boss is coming for lunch. Like, Lola, you should prepare like a nice meal. And then I think it was like her first time seeing my dad, her son, in like 17 years.
Oh my
So it was like
17
very
years, you know.
emotional. And my mum and dad actually came back from the Philippines last week. They went back to visit, which was sweet. So they like sent back loads of like pasalubong boxes, and then obviously brought lots back. So I've got like,
Yeah.
overall but no, not as often as I'd like to. But I would like to save up to go. But it's just one of those ones that's such a big task, and you want to
Yeah.
also balance seeing family as well as like going on holiday and seeing.
Yeah.
The
It's such a
islands.
balance.
It's
isn't
so.
it?
I
is a
always find it so
balance.
difficult because like a lot of my friends have been to the Philippines and they're like, "Where would you recommend to go?" And I'm like, "I have not travelled the Philippines.
Yeah.
I've not holidayed
Like,
the Philippines.
Same.
I just see my family."
Family is, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I wish we could, like, I don't know, when you go home, I think you need at least 2 to 3 weeks to catch up with family, and then you can go away on holiday. I think
Yeah.
they feel like you owe it to them to see them for like
It's
2
because it's
weeks.
so far away that whilst you're there, you can't not. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
you can pop back in a few
Oh,
months.
Yeah.
here's
And
me.
everything also takes so long to get to and
Yeah.
from.
Isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, and the flights as well. Like, I think my mum and dad did to Singapore, and then from Singapore to then Philippines, and even that was
lovely.
like so long. And I think their flight to Singapore was delayed by like a day and a half. So they were just in the airport or like
It's a
in
great
the
airport to
airport.
Yeah,
Oh,
Singapore.
It's
Yeah.
probably like one
We're
of the
gonna pick
best
one.
ones.
I was in Dubai and it was just boring. Do you know what I mean? Sorry. I don't think so. Well, I was there morning around
but
like
like,
1
what year?
a.m. Oh,
Oh,
what
so
year was this?
everything's closed.
June. Everything was closed, and obviously there's no beds as well, so I can't sleep. And it's just, what's nice about Dubai Airport?
I just think it's a really nice airport.
I mean, it's the shot, it's grand, but I just,
Grand is a good word.
yeah.
Singapore
maybe
has
not
like
fun.
that big waterfall.
Yeah.
yeah,
right?
true. Qatar has a forest or something, like a
Oh.
not a rainforest, like a park. They have a
Oh.
park.
wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's like
Heathrow
an
needs to
indoor
step up.
park.
Yeah, Heathrow definitely needs to step
Yeah.
up. And Naia, guys.
Saudi, I think it was Saudi. They had like a gaming area where there's
Wow.
like PlayStations
Oh.
and like soft play area. It was really, really nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
nice
I'm
as
not
well.
surprised,
Yeah.
Saudi.
Especially
Saudi
with kids
Airlines.
as well. Like, you want to
Yeah.
entertain
Yeah,
them
it
at
was
the
great.
airport.
We weren't stopping over, which was a shame, but we would have actually liked to
stop
just to have
there.
that break there.
So cute.
I have a question actually. You were talking about pasalubong from your parents. What's everyone's top pasalubong
To give or to receive?
to receive?
Okay.
I love it because obviously back in the day, it's like in the Philippines, they're waiting for pasalubong from abroad. But us now, being in the UK, when our parents come back from the Philippines, we expect pasalubong. So what is your
Yeah.
top pasalubong?
As if it's like my mum, So coming from Bulacan, I like chicharron.
Oh yeah,
salted eggs.
That is so good. Your chicharron is so banging.
Is it? Bulacan chicharron?
Because like when I last went to the Philippines, your cousin had to give me something for you, and then
She ate it.
she brought me some chicharron as well. I was like, oh my god, this chicharron is so good.
It's so good, really
I need to
good.
try it.
Yeah, chicharron, salted eggs. I used to love all like sweet treats, but now I'm like, I like mangoes,
Same.
Oh,
banana. Oh, aslam tuyo.
oh yeah.
My mum brings back. Oh, sorry. How about you guys?
I feel like it was when I was younger. It was more food, but I feel like now you can get a lot of the food here. So I don't feel like I'm like I don't feel. I feel like I can still get the food here. Obviously, some things no, but like now I really like shampoo and conditioner.
Same.
why
Have to get
didn't
the
I
cream
ask for
silk.
that?
It's
Cream silk.
Yeah.
cream silk and like it just
Sun
smells.
silk.
It smells
so
amazing,
good,
yeah.
and it like makes your hair feel nice and soft. Like it's the best thing ever.
It's for our hair for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
For me, it's like dried fish.
Oh yeah.
But
So
what my
good.
parents would do, they'll fry it in Philippines so it doesn't smell.
Yeah.
And then when you heat it up here, it's like you just air fry it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
how
it's
do
already
they-
cooked.
How do they package that?
They put it in a Tupperware
Yeah.
and then obviously tape it and then wrap it. So it's already cooked in a Tupperware box.
Oh,
It's like wrapped a million times.
Exactly. I
probably.
mean, yeah.
To
So
hide
it
the
doesn't
smell.
smell.
that's hilarious.
Oh my god, yeah, because it will smell. Oh my god. One food thing that I do always ask for is Inai makes really good bagaong.
Oh.
And like it smells, but she like wraps it up in like tape.
Like
and
gisang
stuff.
bagaong?
It's so good.
Really?
Spicy.
It's like the best thing ever.
We always talk about food. What about
love
you?
that. I feel like I would ask for like calamansi
That's a good one.
That's a
Yeah.
really good one.
because I didn't ask for it this time round, but they
have thought
brought
of
it
that.
anyways, and I was like, oh my god, you guys are geniuses! Like anything calamansi, because you can't get that in
No.
shops.
No.
And it's different,
It's
isn't
not
it?
the
same.
It's not the
Yeah,
same.
like even like when I'm cooking, one thing I did ask for this year, which I thought was I would pat myself on the back for it. I asked for a cookbook from Philippines.
Oh,
That's
what a great
cool.
idea.
And I was
Ah,
because
right.
I was like I want to cook more Filipino food because I want to learn, and sometimes I'm like, you know, I had a what's the word epiphany the other day. I was like, wait, now I'm older. I have to be the one to host the party. That when,
Yeah.
You know, when you're younger and you just go to your auntie's house. I'm like, no, I'm the auntie.
Yeah,
now.
you're the
Yeah.
auntie
And I'm like,
now.
oh my gosh, so I need to like step my game up.
And you have to make sure it's like right, you know?
Exactly. And I was like, my mum's gonna be like, no, this is not my daughter. No, I'm joking. No, she likes my cooking, but I wanted to learn how to cook more Filipino foods like properly, and I always see lots of like TikTok recipes and that kind of stuff, and I'm like, that's great, but I don't know if that's authentic. And I want to make things like how my mum makes things, so like bulalo, kare-kare, ginataan. That's my favorite. Yeah. So yeah, I asked for a cookbook, and then same with you. I was saying like I wanted ube stuff, but I can get that really easily
Yeah.
now.
Which is great.
Yeah, which
true.
is great actually.
Yeah.
I love that for us. But yeah, I asked for a cookbook and calamansi, so I feel like
Calamansi
I'm
is such
good.
a good one.
Yeah.
Calamansi is so good.
Do you know beef steak with calamansi is
Oh,
so much
yeah,
different?
yeah. Actually,
so much
you're right.
different. So much
Better.
better. Sorry. Better than like with lemon or lime.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, the
for
difference is
sure.
mad.
Yeah, lemon and lime just doesn't cut
It
it.
doesn't. And have you seen the calamansi trees that you can buy?
Yeah.
You can get them here.
What here?
Yeah, like I've seen them at B&Q, but I don't know like
B&Q.
No.
Surely not.
Yeah,
Why
I
doesn't
swear.
everyone have one?
But then I don't think they grow. I don't think they grow here. I think they need the heat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I
it's
don't
like
think it
chili.
lasts.
Yeah, it's only for summer and then it just dies.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have a greenhouse, that's better. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like that'd be a good Father's Day gift.
What, a calamansi tree
let me
from
get
B&Q?
That would be good.
I saw, okay, so what do you think about it? Because I saw your post about Pret releasing an ube flavored drink.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What's your opinion?
I feel like if you're gonna do something, do it right. Because I feel like you're gonna like from the comments there were a few Filipinos already that have tried it and said like it didn't taste like Uber at all.
Oh my gosh,
that
I
kind of
promise
thing.
you, I
Did you try
kid
it?
you not, I've literally got on my phone a video. I was going to post it to TikTok. I bought it on the way here and I was like, the first taste. Woo! And then I tasted it and I was like, I don't think I've mixed it properly. Mixed it. It doesn't taste like Uber at all.
Really? Just
Yeah.
sugar,
And, like,
basically.
This isn't even like a you know how like some Filipinos are so picky when you try to do something Filipino. I'm not being picky. Like I really wanted to love it.
Yeah.
But it tastes like pure coffee. I didn't even get a hint, a
really?
whiff.
not
So it's just like
enough.
purple food colouring.
Yeah.
Oh, with
no.
sugar. Yeah,
It just doesn't-
probably.
Like honestly, you can't even detect a whiff of ube.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's nice of them to try.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
nice. It is
But
nice,
like,
but
yeah.
it doesn't
But yeah.
But then it could mean other people will try it first time, ube, and be like, "Oh, is this
Oh,
what it
that's
tastes like?"
exactly.
Exactly.
Is
And I
this
feel
what
like
the
that's the
hype
same
is
for like
about?
matcha as well. Like a lot of people would try a matcha and be like, "Oh, matcha is like rubbish or disgusting." I'm a matcha warrior. I love matcha. But like I think it's like the first impression, and especially if you're gonna like mass market it. I also didn't rate that they called it unusual.
Is it?
Yeah, they said
I didn't
because I think they were trying to do
Yeah.
like a play on like order your usual, but they said order your unusual. But like obviously with the connotation of like Asian food being weird, and
That's so
also not
true.
explaining like what ube
Ube is, exactly.
They said like the flavor, and they said that with matcha, but like they could have said ube is a Filipino flavor from like blah blah blah.
Right.
Same with like matcha. Like people would just be like, oh, I didn't realize matcha was Japanese, and I was like, well, obviously, but it's not obvious to everyone.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
So I feel like, you know, if you're gonna do it right, or like, you know, do it with care.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
happy
Yeah.
to try and like love
Fair
things
enough.
Yeah.
if like
Do it with
the
care.
intention is there, but it's just really weird when like your culture is like profited on.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what I was
Done
thinking
well.
about the
Yeah.
B&Q calamansi as well. They're now obviously profiting.
Another one.
Oh my god.
That was a reach, but anyways.
The thing was like the barista who was serving it to me. I don't think she even knew what it was. She kept calling it blueberry, and I was like, no.
Oh no!
No, she didn't.
She was like the blueberry one. I was like, no, no.
I'd have been like, do you know where that come from?
Ube. And she was like, the blueberry. No.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't even know how to pronounce it. Like it's not like
Ube.
told to them.
Ube.
You know,
Well, however you say
Ube.
it.
Ubi.
Yubi.
But yeah, I mean, as long as you're trying.
Yeah.
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 The intention's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give,
Well, we still
give
got
it-
far
give
to
it a
go.
chance.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how did? Okay, so let's go like back to the beginning. So, what did you do at uni? How did you get to where you are now in your career,
Okay.
etc.?
At uni, I was a dancer at the time. So
Oh,
I used
yes,
to be a,
girl.
Thank you. So I used to be a dancer, and I used to compete in like different competitions, and I like represent like I did hip hop, and I did it with a team, and we used to like travel to like different countries and compete and represent England and stuff. And I feel like
Wow.
when I was doing
Oh my
that, I
gosh.
didn't I didn't have like there was a lot of training physically in place, but managing that and then managing like doing my A levels was really difficult for like my mental health. So that's why at uni I wanted to study sport and exercise psychology, just to kind of understand like performance a bit more. And then at the time as well, my sister, she did karate for England as well.
Whoa, you
like,
guys.
Oh.
So
Your
yeah, we were
parents must
very
be
like
so proud.
active.
England.
We were very active kids, but I feel like something that I noticed was that we didn't really have like the mental health side of like sports, but also that also just helps with like performance in general. Like, so I wanted to study sports psychology, and I really enjoyed that at uni. But I enjoyed the psychology side more. And then in psychology, we learned a bit like we had to do. It was really weird. We had to do the accreditation for a sports degree, but then also the accreditation for a psychology degree. So we didn't really have any options throughout the degree. You know, when people be like, oh, what's your second year options? What's your third year options? Like, we just had no options, basically, because we
You
had
had
to
to do
hit
them
all these
all.
points. Yeah. So I really enjoyed the psychology side of things, and I learned about, like, child development and all that kind of stuff. So after uni, I was kind of stuck between, do I want to be, like, a sports psychologist, or do I want to work with kids and that kind of stuff as well. And then I think around that time, one of my nieces in Philippines was diagnosed with autism. So I was like really like passionate about learning more about that. So that's how I got into working in schools after uni. So I used to work in the SEN department, which is special educational needs, in a secondary school. So I would support the children with like additional needs like autism, ADHD, and like look at their lesson plans and how we can make learning more accessible for them, because everyone learns differently at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
it's like a lot of the stuff I was learning was like more destigmatizing, how we can get them to like fit into the classroom, because then when they leave school, it'd be like the same as like fitting into society and all that kind of stuff. So I did that for 2 different schools, one in Reading and then one in Swindon. And then when I was in Swindon, I think I was in a drama class, and their task was to do a piece on like anti-bullying. And I think one of like the children were like, oh, let's just recreate this story. And they were saying this story about an influencer who was like, got backlash or like was bullying someone else. And in my head, I was like, that's such a shame that you kind of know that at such a young age. So it was a really big influencer.
How old were these kids?
Year 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like a story where like the influencer wasn't really respectful of like this place's heritage or like their mental health, that kind of stuff. And they found it like hilarious, and they're like, oh, we'll just do that. Like that will be easy. So in my head, I was like, oh, that's a bit of a shame. Like I don't think that children should be viewing influencers that way. And then whilst I was at uni, sorry, backtracking a little bit. Whilst I was at uni, I worked part-time in like the marketing department. So I would do like open days and like go do talks in school and let them know about different like higher education pathways. So you can do degrees in things outside of STEM. Like there's creative degrees that you can do, or there's like apprenticeships, traineeships, all that kind of stuff. So I think during that time and during the pandemic as well, and then there was like the rise of Asian hate, I was like, there's so many negative influences online that I kind of don't feel like anything that people say in like classrooms and stuff isn't going to hit the kids as powerfully, if that makes sense. And like, you know, with like adolescence and Netflix as well, like I don't know if you guys have watched that, but like just shows that like bedroom culture is really impacting all these kids. So I wanted to work for an agency or work with something in media that has a positive influence on children, basically. So I was really lucky to find the agency that I work for now, which is Shift. And their whole roster at the time, still now currently, represented people who had like really positive influence, and I kind of really liked what they stood for. So they had like family creators that showed like the realities of family life, not like family creators that were like all glitz and glam. Like it was really like the raw, honest stuff about it. They had just generally just really nice people.
Yeah, quite authentic influences.
Exactly, like authentic. Like I don't think any of the deals that I saw them doing were anything that you can, when you sometimes you see brand deals and like I don't understand how this aligns. Like everything I saw Shift do, I was just like, this is amazing. So yeah, applied for them, got hired, and then kind of like worked my way up. So currently I'm junior talent manager. But I've loved it since then. So like working with, different creators, different brands, different agencies. And like my team have been amazing. They've like always recommend me for things. Like they always push me to do things, even though I don't think I'm ready for it. So whether that's like panels and talks, that kind of stuff. But then during that time, I also kind of noticed that sometimes I'm like the only Asian person in the room. And something that we always talk about is like equity and equality within the media space. And then pairing that with like knowing kids in school and helping them pick their GCSEs, what kind of careers that the Asian kids were taught to pick. And then even at university level, when you graduate, seeing what kind of people picked creative careers over like STEM careers, that kind of thing. Realistically, majority would be like middle class white people would want to be or have the confidence to say they want a creative career, whereas like a lot of Asian people might want to play the safe route. Yeah. And then sometimes there are people like are great at like doing STEM, and then that's their passion. Like my sister, she's a incredible scientist. Like she's great at what she does and she loves it. But me, I wasn't a STEM girl in school. I could do it, but it wasn't what I was like passionate about.
Just to, sorry, cut you off.
Go for it.
When you say creative careers, what kind of careers would that be?
So things like in university, there's things like marketing, there's like performing arts, there's like drama. I think there's even a friend of mine, he is currently at uni for content creation, which is insane.
Wait, is that a course?
Yeah, it's a new course. It's at Ravensbourne University.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's so interesting. Cool. They learn more about like the business of it, which I think I was like, well, how do you teach people to be a content creator? And I don't think they teach people how to do it. I think they teach people like more professionalism within the creative space, which I think is great. So like, for example, if you're going to do a podcast, you don't just like sit here and pop some mics up. You need an engineer. You need different angles. You need to cut it. Like, how are you going to do like the logistics about it? Who are you going to book? Like, and it's like more like teamwork, like project management, stuff like that, as well as like camera skills, or like what can you do with a camera? Are you going to film a short film, or are you going to film a documentary? So even that, like, I think that's so cool. And again, it's just not an option that I had growing up.
Wow.
Because even back in the day, I think back in the 90s or early 2000s, film and TV wasn't, everyone was shocked that it was a course.
It was just media.
It was
wasn't
just
it?
media, exactly. But then we learned so much about the history of it, the different, obviously, films all around the world, and that kind of theory side of things, as well as the technical side. So I think it is going to be a big thing, content creation, especially like you said, the business side of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Where like YouTube has their own university to teach the
It's
business side of making
If I chose
money.
content creation as a degree, like back in the day, my mum and dad would have been
Oh,
like,
no.
What is this? It's
Can
so
you
weird,
imagine?
isn't it?
With
Yeah.
your
That's great, though.
experience with like kids in school and everything, and like picking their GCSEs and things like that, why do you think a lot of Asian or non-white children, why do you think that they go for STEM rather than creative careers?
I think a lot of it is like cultural upbringing, in terms of, you know, maybe our parents weren't aware, or like maybe they didn't have access to understand what a sustainable creative career looks like. And again, that's not really any fault of their own. And I feel like also like schools and stuff could do more to kind of show sustainability in that, because even now, like, a lot of people are, oh, you can go to a creative career, but like it's not going to make you any money. But like, says
that's
who?
what I would. That's what I remember hearing back in the day.
Yeah.
Like it was not going to make you money, or you got to be really good to do well in that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing. But even like the creator economy, and I'm gonna, there's like a ballpark number. This might not be accurate, so I might need to like put a little fact check up. But it's gonna be like, it's worth billions now, basically. I'm gonna say like billions as in general, but it's worth billions now, and I feel like there's room for like everyone to have a slice of the pie, and I feel like it would be nice to kind of see it actually be reflective of the world and not just like the same people all the time and time again. But yeah, I think to answer your question, I think it's like the lack of awareness, and then like I think also like people who are older, even like in schools and stuff, not just parents, like teachers and stuff, they might not be as aware of like, okay, well, this child wants to be a podcast host, but I don't know things about podcasting. I know what I've been taught at university and my teaching degree. So I'm not maybe sure how to support this person and what they do. Like there's kids even now who are like so specific that they say they want to be a stylist. Like I don't think any of my friends when I was at school knew what a stylist was. Like I still probably don't know what a stylist is.
Or like how to become one.
Exactly.
You just say fashion.
Yeah,
something in
you say like,
fashion.
and you just think the first thing you think of is like, oh, well, you want to be a designer.
Yeah.
I'm like, and stuff like that. I just think is so interesting. So yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to build Make the Jump, to kind of platform mainly Asian creatives, and I wanted to keep it open to Asian because I feel like there's such a lack of representation anyways, that if I kept it to just Filipino, I might run out of people, which is sad to say, but like I might run out of people to kind of platform or have as mentors. If it's Asian in general, like I feel like I have more mentors available, more mentee applications. But yeah, so yeah, I think just the lack of awareness, and that's something that I really want to do. And like even stuff like you guys' podcast, like I think I followed you guys like before you
did
had your first episode out.
back way,
Yeah, I saw it as recommended actually on my
it?
For You page, Explore page.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but no, yeah.
So from the stories that you've said, starting from like school all the way to where you are now, it seemed like everything kind of aligns, right? Like each time you found a community and you wanted to do something for the community.
Yeah.
How did you eventually get to the point where you are now with Make the Jump?
Yeah, I think it's actually when I met one of my very close friends. Her name is Jian, and she's like a marketing legend. And we were so excited to meet each other because we were like, oh my God, like we both work in influencer marketing. This is really cool. Like I've never seen anyone that looks like me. So yeah, we got to talking, and it was just nice to have someone that I could relate to as a friend, but also who has the same kind of like industry not struggles, but like could understand what we were going through, and then also at the same time like understand how our cultural bringing might come into things like as well. So for example, like, you know, Filipinos are kind of taught to be humble and kind of accept what you're offered, and you know, you should be happy to be there. But my mum was quite the opposite. She was very like, no, you need to make yourself known and all that kind of stuff. So she's really pushed me. And we kind of noticed like there's like a really lack of role models, and like we only have each other, but there's probably more of us out there. We're just more isolated as well. So yeah, I wanted to make the jump, and I'm super happy with how it's gone so far. We've just finished our first run of the program, so we had roughly 10 mentors, 12 mentees, so I took on 2, and it was such a great mix of like people who were videographers, people that worked in theatre. We had lawyers who were amazing as well. Filipino lawyer who worked specifically in the entertainment space, so he did a workshop on how to protect your legal work and like understanding what copyright is, what is a trademark, how to read a contract. And I think all those things are really important skills.
Maybe we need to
jump
in there.
We need to make the jump.
No, do it. Love that. But yeah, I think I wanted Make the Jump to be a really practical experience, because I feel like as much as I love a chase your dreams conversation and like message, I feel like a lot of like, especially for like Filipinos, we're very like practical people. We're like, but how do I chase my dreams?
Right.
Like, I want to start a podcast. Okay, well, like, do I need to register the name, or like, should I not register the name yet? Or like, what to do and when? I feel like I'm a very methodical person. So even with our sessions, every session we had, I screen recorded it on Google, and then there's like a mentee portal that they have. So if they miss sessions, they can catch up on it, and there's notes as well. So I wanted to just make it as accessible as possible, because I feel like the issue with what I was dealing with anyways was like the access and getting your foot on the door. So that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's kind of how I came into Make the Jump.
I wish I had when I was getting into TV, I wish there was a platform like yours that helped me even understand the industry itself. Everything that you've said about how you mentor people Make the Jump, it's things that I literally craved when I was getting into TV and I was the only person of colour. So yeah, I really wish that the platform was there. So I'm really glad that you've brought this up, not just for Filipinos, but Asians as well in general, to help them, I guess, thrive, whatever industry, creative industry they want to get into.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. Because I feel like there's so many programs in like STEM where you can do like accelerator courses. But even like I've got nieces and nephews, and I feel like when they get older, I want them to feel confident that I want to go in STEM. Okay, cool. This is how you can do that. Or if I want to go into creative career, I'll be like, okay, I can help you, and here's like the resources for it. And I feel like Make the Jump's mission for me is about paying it forward, because again, like you said, like the struggles that we went through, we don't really want the people around us to go through. If we can help them, like of course, like we would. And that's also why I wanted it to be a non-profit, because I feel like if it wasn't, I would just be, I'm currently a one-woman show, but I'd be just so in my head about, I'm not the best with numbers, I'll be real. That's why I didn't go into STEM, because I wasn't good at maths. I think I even tried to do A-level maths, and my teacher was like, yeah, Sydney, I'm so sorry. You're not good enough for this. And I did like a one taster session, and I was like, yeah, miss, you're right. I'll see you later. Let me go to my sports class instead. But yeah, I feel like I want it to be more community focused. Yeah. And like educational, if that makes sense.
It sounds like even from the beginning, like when you were working in schools and when you like did your uni, you have this like calling to help people, and you found a space where that's missing for some people. And it could sound like little things like knowing how to set something up to start up a podcast, but they're fundamental things to do these jobs. So it's really nice that you've done that. And especially like non-profit, like how are you able to do it? How are you managing it?
I feel like that's why I also didn't want to do it like full time and like as like a limited business. So I feel like with non-profit, I'm not a business expert, by the way. This is just what I do. I feel like it's kind of for me the same as like a community club. So even like with setting up the bank account, it would be like the same as like if someone wanted to set up a football team on a Saturday and people kind of like pay for their kids to go to it, they, you know, that might not be their full-time job. So I kind of wanted it to be like sustainable because obviously I still work full-time. But it's something nice that I can like also go home and pour into and kind of fill my own cup as well. So we're only running twice a year at the moment. So currently I'm in the phase where I'm like gathering data from the last run, seeing what worked, what didn't work, how we can make it better, like what kind of people do I want involved as well. And I feel like non-profit is nice because then I can have more options to apply for funding just to make the program better. So eventually, maybe in future, I want to be able to like provide equipment to people or like, you know, maybe do taster days in different industries and stuff like that, just to kind of really make it as accessible as possible for younger people. I think yesterday, actually, my mentee from the program, she texted me and said that she got a job offer, and that's something that we were working on is like graduate jobs and like how to look for them. So we're doing like interview prep soon, but she's a designer and she's got an offer currently for a really big, what's the word, TV?
Production?
Yeah, TV production company. Yeah, that's the word. You would know, wouldn't you?
Let me know which company.
I'll tell you later.
Sorry.
No, all good. But yeah, no, she can. So it's nice that she's like, she calls me Atta as well, which I think is really sweet. So we're gonna go through like interview questions and help her to prepare and stuff. And I think that's what I kind of want at the end of the day because I didn't have that. Like, I didn't have anyone to go like, oh, I don't even know what a talent assistant is. But I was just like, I'm gonna talk about what I'm good at. But there's things like you might not know, like how do you carry yourself in the room, like maybe like the importance of like, you know, being chatty with the interviewers, making like being likable. Obviously everyone's likable, but like making yourself memorable, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's the kind of skills that I want to pass on.
Just going back to like your experience working around, I guess, non-Filipinos or people of color, did you feel like you had to put a mask on?
Yeah.
Because I felt like that.
Yeah.
But obviously you couldn't share that with anyone in the room because no one would understand. So I'm glad that we're now able to talk about these masks that we have to build up. Then it's tiring because when you get home and you see family and friends, you kind of drop that. But then you're just like, but TV world is so different. You've kind of built that barrier. But anyways, I don't know if you felt the same.
No, definitely. I feel like I had to put like a few masks on. Like growing up in Reading, I would use certain slang. Like I'd say something like, "Oh, that's really funny, innit?" But they'd be like, "Oh, innit? Oh, why do you talk like that? That's not proper." I'm like, "Says who?" Like, what? It was very weird. And even like the students, like if a child used slang, they would get like told off for it. I'm like, but actually, I don't think that reflects anything like professional wise. That's like saying you can't have a like you going to a job interview, you can't have a tattoo.
Yeah.
Like that's also someone's like way of being brought up. And I feel like, you know, as long as you're a nice person and you're good at what you do, how you speak I don't think really matters. And I feel like it's the equivalent of like maybe having an accent, like telling someone to talk properly. Really annoys me because I'm like, I could have an accent. I could have a Filipino accent. Are you going to tell me to talk properly now? Like it's very weird. But yeah, even that. So I feel like masking how I spoke in terms of like slang, and then also, you know, like little things like when you go to bring your Filipino lunch in and everyone's asking, "Oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting. Oh, it's very fragrant, isn't it?" And you're like, yeah, it is. It's lovely. You want some, don't you?
It's delicious. But yeah, no, I'm so tired. I'm so happy I don't have to do that anymore.
Honestly, same.
Like,
you kind of drop it all.
Yeah, like my team was so great. Like we're just so chill. I love it.
That's good.
As in, do you guys just feel like you can just be yourself now in comparison to before? Is that what you mean by dropping your mask?
I guess, yes. For me now, obviously being a freelancer, when you're jumping into different companies, you're working with different people, different companies, different ethos, whatever. So you constantly have that guard up. So as TV, as a whole, TV as an industry, there is a certain standard that you have to follow, like the way you talk, the way you kind of dress. But slowly, like as a junior, you have to follow that.
Right.
But now that you're in a better role as a junior production manager, you kind of drop all of that because you don't give a shit.
You're more confident in yourself.
Exactly, because you just care about your your skills more and you know what you can offer the table. So as long as you stick to that, then it doesn't matter what you show because they'll hire you at the end of the day. But as a junior, because they don't know who you are, you kind of build that up.
And do
have to,
you
prove
think
yourself.
You have to prove yourself, exactly.
do you think you masked up more because of the fact you were Asian too? Did that have an effect?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Asian, gay, whatsoever. I mean,
Not
as
just
much
because you were junior. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. 100%. Like you said, food, accents, the switch coding, you know, it happens a lot. And then sometimes you kind of pick up the TV accent and the loudness and the personality, and it is tiring. Because as much as you're not in front of the camera, even people behind, they would like you even more if you've got this big personality. If you go for drinks, you network with them. And if you don't, you don't have the opportunity to go on to the next job that they're going as a freelancer. So
I know, obviously, we said earlier that a lot more Asians choose STEM careers. So in the industry, because obviously I've got no idea, but in the industry right now, is there a lot of Asians working in the industry?
in TV, yes, I'm seeing them a lot
Okay.
more.
Love that.
Yeah, a lot more,
Yeah.
100%.
Love that.
I think in the beginning it was post-pandemic. There was a lot of tick boxes, like just using us as, you know, a tick
Okay.
box.
To me, that EDI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then when I meet the younger runners that are of people of color, I just say to them, use that to your advantage, because as much as you're a tick box, you only need to prove your worth how you work, and then you're hireable. It doesn't matter if you are, you know, they hired you because of, you know, your race or your upbringing or whatsoever. As long as you prove to them that you're good at what you do, then you're hireable. And then you can just pick whatever job you want in the future because you've already made it and climbed up the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it just so happened that it was a tick box thing to get you in, doesn't matter.
It
Let
doesn't,
that,
for
like-
me personally,
Yeah.
I used it to my advantage.
Yeah.
I was the only
Exactly, yeah.
Filipino you wanted to hire me because I'm gay and Filipino, tick 2 boxes. Now I can choose the jobs that I want to.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
you've got that.
And then when I got that, my CV just looks, oh, this is my credit.
Yeah.
Then yeah, it just
making the
made it
most
better for
of
me.
it, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like looking at it in a completely different way. Because
100%.
some people would just be like, "Oh, they only picked me because of this."
Yeah.
And then
and
it's
then
just a
be
miserable
down.
job though for the
Yeah.
next few months for you. So you just gotta deal with it, I guess. For me, that's how
Yeah.
I dealt with it.
Yeah.
But what about
I
you
agree.
in your industry?
I feel like I was very lucky because the way that where I work now at Shift, they hired, I think, was very accessible. They didn't want degrees, and they wanted transferable skills, and they wanted you to kind of prove why the skills you have were transferable. So, for example, I work in talent management now. So when I used to do one-to-one with the kids, and I used to like liaise with, you know, the local council and child psychologists, those are skills that I can transfer to talking to talent and then managing like campaigns of agencies and brands, that kind of thing. And I feel like with that, it means that more people of color and more working class people could get into the industry, because realistically, like, who's got the spare peas to get, you know, train into London for a internship? It might be, I don't know if you can legally do unpaid, but like a lower paid internship.
Yeah.
Only realistically people who are middle class would be able to do that. And then that also means that, you know, naturally that means that the industry is like more white or that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And I feel like especially managing talent that are, like, most of my talent I manage are people of color. So even like talking to people about like why they can't do certain things. So for example, one of my talent is she does like hair care content. And then I was talking to a brand to do like shampoo. I think it was like a shampoo or conditioning thing. So then we had to talk about, you know, why we can't really do a reshoot because she can't just keep washing her hair, that kind of stuff, and education that way. And that's also things that I had to learn that I wasn't aware of, that my team taught me. So I feel like it really, like, the cultural understanding of like talent and who they are as people really helps with my role and what I do. But yeah.
So, do you work with any Filipino talent / influencers?
We do.
Ew.
The lovely.
If so, who?
No,
And do you need more?
She's applying. It's an interview.
No, we manage the incredible Paolo. His name's @Wo Paolo on Instagram and
Oh my
TikTok.
God.
Cinematographer, yes.
Oh,
We
He's on our radar.
He's on our yeah. We've been in contact. We've been in touch. So I think it's just the dates.
Yeah,
So
no,
cool.
he's genuinely like the nicest guy ever.
Is he like always traveling?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
real globetrotter he
Yeah.
is. No, he's
And
great.
the brand deals, boy.
Yeah, no, he's honestly smashing it, and it's just nice to be like, to know my nephew. I'll be like, oh look, if you want to do filming, look at this guy.
It's
It's so nice.
incredible.
But yeah, no, he's great. He's like a filmmaker, and he literally anything he does, it just looks like a movie.
Yeah.
You know, when people
so
say, "Oh,
good.
life is a movie," like his life is literally a movie. But yeah, no, he's great, and he's currently the only Filipino person we manage. But there's so many other like Filipino creators that I love and like super passionate about.
Who do you love?
Of course, the OG Bretman Rock.
Oh.
Yeah.
You get to put up on every episode.
One day he. I feel,
One day he has
you
to
have
sit
honestly,
here.
if you watch
episode.
Bretman, if you watch any episode,
I
we mention him.
know. Every episode.
Every
I'm gonna do a count.
I was
Yeah.
actually
But
thinking
we
to
count.
myself
Every
earlier.
episode, literally, we've mentioned his
No
name.
way.
We
love
just we
him.
love
We
him so
love him.
much.
Adore him. I feel it's because I also watched him from like when he was just chilling in his bedroom,
Right.
like, filming in his webcam. And I
Yeah.
remember being
Fighting
like,
with Princess.
OG.
Me and my sister watched them
Love
because
it.
it's
He's
pretty
like
much
besties
us.
with all the Filipino
Yeah,
celebrities now.
Yeah.
he
I
did that photo
know.
shoot with Heart.
Allure.
It looked,
Oh,
it looked great.
so great.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
So do you like talent scout as well, or is there another person that does that in your company?
No,
And
we
you just manage?
we work as a team, and like we generally like are just very like what's the word? We're very not cautious, but we want to basically when we watch people, you know, we're never really in a rush to sign anyone because I
Yeah.
think we're a small team of 3, and we want to make sure that it's the right fit for our values as well. So I feel like you could be a creator with like millions of followers, but we want to make sure that you also align with our roster and our roster's values and that kind of stuff, and that also just takes a bit of time to like kind of watch and see, but no, we really do it as a team. Like there's no one person fits all. At the end of the day, they're working with the team as well, so we want to make sure the team's happy. But yeah, that's how we do that.
So fun.
I want to know the process of like
Yeah.
you as like a junior talent manager, you're looking after this talent. What's like a day in the life? What's your day to day? Let's say Paola, for example.
Yeah. So day to day, so I manage my own roster. Paolo's not on.
Your roster.
Yeah, but we have a handful of people, so we touch points with everyone. But a day in my life, we work from home some days. Sometimes we'll go office, and generally I clear my inbox for the first few hours of the day, and then I'll do like outreach for brands. So like for example, one of my creators, they might have something coming up that might be a good fit for this brand, so we'll get in touch. Sometimes I have like meetings of agencies, go for coffee. Managing contracts, so I have to like read through contracts, make sure that they're all good, no one is like, it's fair for everyone, that kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like a day in the life is very different. On some days I might have shoots as well, so like we help our talent shoot, we might have an event we need to go to as well. So I feel like for the next few days, I feel like I'm pretty chill for the next few days, which is good because
Sounds
like
good
so
for summer.
fun.
It
I
sounds
know,
very
innit?
It
fun.
actually sounds so fun. So do you like just I don't know how to word this. Do you just like look how do you do like your research for brands for your creators?
I think it's easy for us because we know our creators really well. So for example, one of our creators, he is an author, and he's just released a book called Frequently Happy, and it's amazing. His name's David Larby, and he's generally just like the internet's ray of sunshine. So like any brand that might have like a positive message or any but what he's like really good at is poetry. So anything that might be, I think we did like he was on ITV News the other day, bringing in the spring equinox with one of his like spring poems, like that kind of thing. So I think it's really flexible, but I think it comes with like knowing your talent well and knowing what aligns with them. So like also really making sure like we research into the brands, like are they sustainable or like are they in the news for anything that might be detrimental or that kind of thing. So we want to make sure that everything that we do is very carefully selected and like a positive reflection of them, because at the end of the day, like the brands will come to creators because of the trust that they built with the audience, and we also want to make sure that that trust is really authentic. So yeah, we're not the kind of agency that encourages people to like try and make a lot of money. Like, we encourage people to also say, we don't think this aligns with you, and this is like how and why. And generally all of our talent really trust us really well to be like, okay, cool, like I understand why this wouldn't work for me, as well. So yeah, very strong relationships, I say.
And so, you know, when you contact the brands, is there any kind of criteria that the brands will look for in the creator before even considering them?
Yeah, but I think it's always different because
Okay.
like different brands have ways of working, and then the agencies as well that might represent multiple brands. Like, I've worked with an agency before, and even the way that they work with certain brands, they'll say like, I work with this skincare brand, but this shoe brand, they work differently. So you can even speak to the same person and it's different. But I think it's the same with our talent. Like, we've got good relationships with the agencies, like at the point where they can be like, oh, hey guys, we've got this coming up, like what can we do with you? So because we work very quickly as well, so I feel like I think it's just playing it by ear. I'll be so real.
And does the person's following really matter? Is that a big
Yeah, I feel like
deal?
yes
Yeah.
and no.
Okay.
Because I feel like equally with like a lot of brands and agencies, they might have different,
Okay.
what's the word, like goals that they want to achieve. So they might decline based on following, or they might say like, but you've got a really engaged audience of these kind of people that are into this kind of thing, like that's why we want to work with you. So I feel like regardless of whether you've got like 1 million followers or less followers, there's like campaigns out there that are suitable for anyone really. Like, and I think that's nice because then it breaks the stereotype that only creators with like millions of followers are successful. Like, you can have like maybe 20k followers and still get really good brand deals because you've got a really strong audience connection, and you're an expert in this kind of thing that no one else might have. That makes sense.
Would you say there's a minimum kind of amount of followers you'd recommend for someone to have before reaching out to talent managers?
I wouldn't say there's a minimum, but I think what is good to before reaching out is like understanding how a campaign works. So like you might not have many followers, but you've got a lot of campaigns coming in because you're an expert in something, and then but yeah, I think in terms of like working with a manager, I think it's always useful, and this is something that I've learned from my team as well, to understand how a campaign works, so then you can also understand like the value a manager brings to you. Because if I feel like there's like a misconception that talent managers are like personal assistants, and that when you sign with a management team that like all your dreams come true, but actually it's like a working relationship. So I think it's a balancing act, and I think you need to find the right manager. Also, I don't think that like everyone needs a manager, because I feel like if you're not too busy and you can manage the campaigns by yourself, then you have a bit more freedom as well. But I feel like there are other benefits to management as well, like, you know, having kind of that support and industry guidance too. But you know, we've got an not Instagram, we've got a TikTok page where we kind of like break things down for people as well. So we'll talk about different like contract terms or like tips and advice. But yeah, I think, like, long story short, I think it's really important to kind of understand what a campaign is, what you're doing, so that when you work with management, you can understand what they're doing for you as well, and understand like, oh, I need to wait for this, or we need to wait for approvals, and you know, it's all like the logistics kind of stuff. But yeah,
The admin side of things. I want to shift back to Make the Jump. Is that okay? And if, let's say, I want to get into an industry and I need mentorship, what's the process? How do I go about getting a mentor?
yeah.
And what's the process?
Yeah, so in terms of like next steps to Make the Jump, we're gonna have applications for our next run live around like July time. But what we do is what I've not been doing, but I will be doing. I'm gonna try and update the socials a bit more so that people can understand what the program is about. So right now I've got a lot of testimonials from like mentees of like why people should apply, that kind of thing. But yeah, so in terms of application process, it's like a set of questions, and it's really, I don't want to say detail heavy, but it's like more qualitative rather than quantitative. So it'll be asking like, why do you want mentorship? Like, what are your goals? And how do you think mentorship can benefit you? And I feel like like the most important question is, what are you looking for in a mentor? Because I think what I've noticed that is a lot of mentees say that, oh, I want a mentor that works in film. But you might have completely different personalities. You might say like, oh, I want a mentor that can, you know, give me honest feedback, or you want a mentor that is like makes you feel seen and a bit more validated. Like I think those skills are equally as important, because you can work in the same industry and have completely different personalities and you might not be a good mentee mentor match.
Right.
Or it could even be soft skills, like I want to learn how to get better at job interviews, or I want to learn how to talk to clients. So for example, I might mentor someone who is a freelance graphic designer, but they want to learn how to talk to clients, and that's a skill that I can share with them. So yeah, I think both mentees and mentor applications really focus on like soft skills and hard skills and a mix of like industry knowledge as well, just so we can make sure that the match is like as accurate as possible. And also like time as well. Like what we're aiming for is minimum 6 hours across 6 weeks.
Okay.
So it could be maybe you've got like 2 30-minute chats a week, or you do like an hour call, or you might want to do 2 hours one week, you know, a couple the other, like spread it out how you want. But it's like I want it to be as flexible, because also like people are busy, like mentees are busy, mentors are busy. I don't want it to be like a rigid thing. So that's why I wanted to have a portal for people to catch up if they happen to, like, maybe they're working late, or maybe they missed this, they, you know, or sometimes, you know, people are ill. Like I don't want it to be like you don't want to feel like you're being punished for not attending.
Yeah.
Exactly, like you're not going to get fired, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's there to help you. And I think like at the end of the day, like with anything, it's what you put into it. So like the more sessions that people attend or catch up on, the more one-to-ones you have, then the more you'll benefit from the program. I think that's the thing. I feel like something I maybe struggled with is like, these applications are really good. Like, how do I know who to say yes and who to say no to? But I think the deciding factor a lot of the time is the mentors we have available. And unfortunately, not yet, but you can't help everyone.
Yeah.
So those are like kind of learnings for me that I want to figure out, how can I address that? Maybe I'll do like open workshops. So some of the workshops that I've been doing, some really lovely friends of mine have offered to open it up to everyone. So I've got really great friends, Nick and Maynard, who own Canon Films, which is a Filipino production company. And they did a workshop online of like how they got into film and production, what life is like as a business owner, how they can work together with like friends, work together as friends, but also as business partners. And that was like a really popular workshop, and they opened it up to everyone. And then like any kind of ticket sales from that kind of went to like reinvested into Make the Jump, which was great. So yeah, so like all the mentees will get all these incredible workshops for free. But if we want to open it up to like other things, then we can do that as well, just so we can keep some money in the business and like use that for like promotions, paid ads, like even if it's like drinks at our event, like, you know, make it like we're really a bootstrapped organization.
I love the big dream.
How
long have you been running it?
Literally, I announced it in January 1st.
January, and
And you've had to choose through applications. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was like, oh my god, no one's gonna apply. I was really stressed, but like we even had applications from people in Philippines. Like it was crazy.
That's so great.
Yeah, people in Philippines. We had like 3 applications from America.
Oh my gosh.
Some from Scotland, and
That's
then some people
incredible.
that were just like in their gap years abroad, and they were even saying like, you know, I'm on my gap year right now. I might not be the best fit, but I wanted to shoot my shot anyways. And I was like, what the hell? Like this is my little
I love
baby.
that.
Like this is crazy. But yeah, so currently we operate in the UK just because of like time zones. But you know, in future,
day.
like I'm 100% open to it if you get enough applications for that can match people. But like, why not? Because it's a flexible program. But like, yeah, we even had like a really lovely celebration the other day, where we had like some of our mentors and mentees as panelists and giving like experience opportunities. So one of our mentees, Victor, was a videographer, and he wanted to understand like how to film events a bit more. So I said, like, look, I don't really have budget, and it's up to you. And that's something I don't really want to ask things of people for free, because I don't really believe in that. But I said, if you want to use this as a experience to work, and you can direct it yourself, and you can have complete creative freedom, like, you're more than welcome to do this for the event. And he came and he really enjoyed it, and he produced like a really beautiful piece of work. And like, it's nice to be able to provide that like space to just play and like understand, like,
100%.
I can do this or I can do that. Like, that's a bit like stress free.
It's definitely important for creative spaces to be able to have that freedom of playfulness, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Play. I feel like even like when you're little, like play is so important. Like, it helps you like learn interactions and stuff like that.
100%.
But yeah.
So if anyone wants to apply, they apply in July.
Yes.
And how would they apply?
So we've got on our website, we'll have applications on there. And it's just like a really simple like Notion form. Usually takes like 10 minutes or less. And that will be for mentees and mentors. And then we're hoping for the program to start like mid-August and finish September, because mid-August is roughly when like South Asian Heritage Month is, and then it will overlap into East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month. So that's how I've planned it in my head.
Wow, yeah.
So that when we do our celebration, we're kind of celebrating both the months and kind of, you know, have everyone feel as represented as possible.
Wow.
Okay. And so if anyone wants to find you, where would you say would be best to, what's your
website, socials.
So for Make the Jump, it's at the jump on Instagram. And then for me, you can find me on LinkedIn, Sydney Bautista. So Bautista. Sydney, like Australia as well.
I love your name, by the way.
Me too.
That's so cute.
Lovely.
I saw someone, I was watching a reality show the other day, and they spelled Sydney SYDNEE. And I was like, the lack of symmetry is really stressing me.
You're not used to it.
Why?
It's like with me, I saw someone spell it AMEER.
Oh,
I'm like, oh.
That's very phonetic.
It's,
Okay, so do you guys want to do
Fast Chika.
Or
And then after that, I've got one last question.
do you want to do Fast Chika? Did you yeah?
I've written them.
Okay. Oh,
We
I'm
all have
sorry.
5 each.
Oh, okay.
Different ones.
Okay.
I've
'cause
done
I
that
was
with
thinking-
Jay as well.
I was
Sorry.
thinking, I'm not going to be able to think on the spot.
No, I put some already.
Okay, perfect.
I literally wrote them last night.
I'm just like, warm up.
Get ready.
Okay.
Who wants to intro it?
You can.
So we're on to Fast Chika, where we just quick fire some questions and you have to answer them quickly. So I'm going to start.
Don't look so nervous.
She don't even know these questions. Okay. Favorite Filipino dish?
Kare kare.
Oh, yes. Filipino role model.
Ooh. Leia Salonga.
Oh.
Queen.
Yeah.
Biggest red flag in a workspace that claims to be diverse?
Not listening to the people that are diverse.
Amen.
Ube or pandan?
Ube.
Filipino superstition you still kind of believe.
I'm not too familiar with superstitions, you know. I'm just going to say none for now.
Silog or full English?
Silog.
What's your favorite silog?
The one with longanisa.
Long silog.
Same. So good. Most Filipino part of your packed lunch growing up?
I feel like I had a lot of school dinners, but when I did have packed lunch, like it would be like if I was going out with my family, like pancit. I feel like that's or no sports days when I was younger. You know when like your family can come to your primary school, like we always had spaghetti.
Oh.
So yeah,
That's so wholesome.
No patis.
Filipino dish that best describes you.
I feel like calamansi aid. You know, like the calamansi lemonade.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Isn't it? I never thought of
That
that.
sounds refreshing.
This is strange, but tabo or tissue?
That's hilarious. What are you?
Is that gonna be a regular?
I'm both. I have a routine. Tissue, tabo, then tissue. That's why I take long though. What about you?
Tabo.
It depends where I am. If I'm in public, tissue.
Yeah, because I mean,
there's no dabble
yeah,
then.
yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, if I'm at home, dabble.
That's why I love bidet in Philippines because it's
I
just
have a-
easy.
No, but
I have a
sometimes they're
bidet.
so strong. And
yeah, I know you're like, oh.
but then I like that because it's like it's very clean.
She loves it.
But then I feel like it's extra clean.
But then
Like,
like,
yeah,
it goes
fair.
all over the place.
Oh.
And then you tissue after.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Adobo with pineapple, yay or nay?
I don't think I've had that, so I would want to though. Yay. It sounds great.
Backstage or in front of the camera?
Both.
Oh, I love that. You replying at 10 p.m. or ghost until Monday?
No, me. I sorry. I need to reply. But I will
Really?
schedule send.
Oh, good for you. You're very organized. Me, I'll ghost
Because I
till
feel
Monday.
like then I feel like I'm giving myself future work. and I
Yeah,
just would
fair
rather
enough.
not,
I
do you know
schedule
what I
one
mean?
too, yeah, fair.
Oh,
Biggest creative collab red flag. Is that right?
yeah.
Okay.
I would say biggest creative club red flag is when the roles aren't clear of who's doing what, if that makes sense.
Oh.
Yeah. So I feel like then otherwise you don't know how the weight is distributed. So I
Got
feel
ya.
like I feel like anything can any collab is great if everyone knows like what they're doing and how they can support each other. If that makes sense.
I
Teamwork
love
makes
that.
the dream work.
And Filipino phrase you use the most?
Hui. When I talk to my nephew, my cat, he's like, come here.
Just last question, I guess. If you could build your dream team of Filipino or Asian creatives, who would be in it?
Oh, I feel like Captain America would be Bretman Rock.
Okay.
Love him. Leia Salonga because she's got to bring the tunes. I would say, in terms of maybe like thinking of it as a project, I would say my friends at Canon Films because they're powerhouses. My friend Gian, who is marketing legend, so anything we'll do, she'll do it great. And then what's the Chika?
I was in it.
Yeah, I think those would be my events.
Oh, I
So
love that.
cute.
We'd love to work
Can
with
we
you.
make that happen?
Isn't
Yeah. How much fun would that be?
it? Isn't it?
Lovely. We'll speak about that later.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
guys an email.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
such an
much.
inspiration, especially for the creative
That's gone
space.
so quick.
Yeah.
That was really quick.
Yeah.
Very, very quick. So you've already said your socials, haven't
Yeah.
you? Oh, cool. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Is there anything that you want to cover or you want to talk about or let our listeners know?
Listeners know. I think we've covered a lot of ground. I'll be real. I feel like we've tapped into everything. We've got the socials. And yeah, no, I just want to say thank you to you guys because it's so exciting and nice and refreshing to see Filipino voices. And I feel like it's really important for us to be behind the scenes and also on screens too. So even
Yeah.
like the decision making of it, I like how you're doing Filipino creatives of different levels and different platforms. And even like,
100%.
you know, you've had restaurant owners, you've had celebrities. Like I think genuinely that's so great because representation, in my opinion, shouldn't only come from the top. So yeah, no, thank you.
Kinilabutan ako, guys.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you so much.
Inspiring each other. Let's go, Philippines.
Thank you
Yay.
for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go. That's it.
Yay. We need to make the jump.
Yeah, we need to make the jump.
Baka pwede ka maging mentor.
Pwede din.